For today, what I want to explain before going into polymorphism, I want to explain few things that we left from before, and I think it is time for it. One of them will be in your last assignment, which I'll give you maybe probably on Tuesday. Okay, so, and it is not a big one, it is just how to do composition, and I'll show you, I'll explain to you today how to do composition. First, for example, here I created one project. And I use the date class here. I created the date class for a purpose, because this is the one that you will include in your assignment. Okay, so if some of you, and it is in the presentations there, in your lecture notes, it is there. And it is better to get it from there, because that one is more complete. I am here doing it just to demonstrate few things. So, you know here, when, for example, here the constructor, when I define the parameters, I define them just with the normal way, the data type and the parameter name. So the first thing I want to explain today is the use of constant, the use of the keyword const, where we use it. We use it in different places and for different purposes. So the first one is that here, and this one you already know. For example, here in main, I can create a constant. I can say, for example, this one integer. Let's say count. Okay, and I say here, let's say just count. What do we call this one? Huh? It's a global variable. Okay. Can I change this one? Now the way I wrote it, can I change it? I cannot change it. I cannot assign it a value or something. Yes, because it is just a plain variable. The only difference is that it is global, so I can access it from any function. That's the only difference. So here I can come to for example, here to main, and I say count equals 10. I can do this one. But sometimes we want some variable to change it from a variable to a constant, to fix a value for the whole program, so it cannot be changed. This is the problem with this one, is it can, since it is global, it can be accessed from anywhere in the program, and any function can change it. So to prevent that one, I use what? I use the keyword const. And since I use the word const here, I have to give it a value. For example, 10. And you see here, I got the error. Why I got the error? Why I got the error here? Yeah, because it is constant, yes. Constants cannot be changed. They can only be defined while they are declared. I am declaring them here, and I am give them a value here. So I initialize them here. And this is the only place where I can initialize them. So this is one way to use constants. Of course, constants doesn't need to be, they don't need to be global. I can move this one to be inside the function. I can put it here as local constant. It is the same thing. But the difference is what? The difference is what now? Since this is now a local constant.
We can use it in this function.
Yes, we can use it only in this function, in main. If I write another function and I try to access this one, it will give me an error because it doesn't know about it. Okay? So this is one way of defining or of using const. It is just to declare normal constants, normal C++ constants. We also saw that here, when we say date, integer day, integer month, integer year, it means, for example, here inside, let's open this one. So inside this constructor here, inside the constructor here, you see here, I am changing the values of the what? Of the data, the class data members. Can I change the value of D, M, and Y inside here? Can I?
Yes.
Yes. If I say here, for example, D equals 20, will this give me an error? No, because it is just a normal variable. It is just a normal variable. However, it is important for parameters that don't need to be changed, that the function is supposed not to change them, we fix their value. We fix their value. I told you before that when we write classes, for example, here, when we write some of these classes, sometimes we give them to others to use them. If we don't restrict their use, then they can play with them, with their values. For example, if I give this class to someone, inside they can for example, they can do something like this one here and change the value of D and then assign it another. So what I want is to fix it. So this is like an agreement between me, the one that wrote this class, and the one that I gave this class to use. So between me and the user, or me, or what sometimes we call them the client or the customer, because, for example, if I am writing this project for a company, then I don't want them to mess with these values, to play around with them. It is like an agreement between me and them that they should fix, they should go by the rules. The rules, I define them here. That when they send values to me as a class, I don't change them. For example, if you are the user and you send today's date, and inside it, I decrease the month by 1 or add 1 or whatever, play with the day or the year, then the user will see the wrong results. They wonder why we got that, and this is because I am playing inside these functions. So I need to have an agreement between me and the user of this class. So in order to do that, what do I need to do with these parameters? Make them constant. Yes, make them constant. So I put const here, const here, and const also here. So this way, the user will now be sure that if they send any of these values, then I am, as a programmer, will not play around with them. Okay, will not change them. So I need to, if I put const here in the prototype, do I need to put it also there in the implementation? Do I need? If I put it here, const here in the prototype, do I need to change them? I mean, do I need to put also const there in the implementation? Okay. Let's try. I'll put it. I'll leave it as it is. I'll try to generate this one and see if we will get errors. Of course, you know now, since we are at the end of the semester, that a prototype and implementation should what? Should what? Where this one got? So now I have this one. Huh? Now I have it in date. In date, I put constants here. I put constants here. But in date CPP, I am able to change. I'm supposed to put constant here as well. Since I put it there, I have to put constant here. Otherwise, the function will be able to change them. You see here? Now I got the error. Now I got the error. Okay? So now I cannot do it. I cannot change the values of parameters. And this is the way to make sure that what I promise as a programmer to the client or to the customer or to the user, I can do it through these restrictions, like constant. Okay, so this is the second use of const, is to fix parameters. Is to fix parameters. Now there is another one, another use of const, which you didn't see before. You see here, I have a print function. Then now this is the print, in the date here. This is what I am doing in the print. Is just to print, just to display the values of day, month, and year. There's nothing weird about it. But can this function change the values of day, month, and year? Print? It can?
Yes.
It can? Can I put, for example, here, day equals 20? Can I do this? Can I do this? I can or I cannot? You see it, there are no errors. Okay? Any function, I can, since these functions belong to this class, the date class, then it means that I can access the data members in any of them. I can access them in both ways, either to get their values or to change them. Yes, I can print their values as you see here. Here, since I am printing, it means I am reading their values and I am displaying them. But also I can assign new values to them. Now, let me ask you something. What is the purpose of print? What is the purpose of print? Why we wrote print? Why we wrote print? What does print do? Okay. Is it supposed to change values of the data members in print? Are we supposed to change the value of the data members here in print? Its job is just to display the values. Its job is not to change the values of the data members. Okay? So this is a problem here. Sometimes, also as agreement, I need to make sure that all those, for example here, if we have a company and we have employees and I am assigning tasks to each of them, this person is doing, like for example, is copying papers, make copies of like papers or IDs or whatever. They are not supposed to change the content of those papers. Their task is just to make copies of them, not to change. But if I give them everything, if I give them the original, for example, if I give them just the paper, no problem, because if this is just a copy of them. But what if, for example, I give them the file and the Word file and I'll tell them that to print it. So they can go inside Microsoft Word and change it and then print it and give it to me. They say, this is what you want. So I give them the ability to change. But if I give them like just papers, printed papers, then they will not be able to change unless they erase it or do something like this. So there is a way of like preventing this from happening is by putting the keyword const here. I put the keyword const here. This keyword means that this function is supposed not to change the value of the data members. You remember? I told you that in each class we are supposed to have a get and set functions. The get functions will read the values, no problem reading, no problem, because reading will not affect the value of the data member. But the set functions will actually change. So I need, we will have, for example, here now we have 3 data members, so we will have 3 get functions and 3 set functions, so 6 employees. Those 3 get functions, those 3 employees are not supposed to play with the values. Those 3 here, they are giving the ability to do it. Okay, so that's why we have those. I told you that we need these functions to have in each class, so to give the ability, or to distribute work among the functions. Now you see I got the error here. Why I got the error? Because the prototype and the function header should match. The prototype and the function header should match. So because I have here a const, I need to have here also a const. So I need to say const here. Okay. Now, if I now you see here, now it gave me error. This function will not be able to change. But it didn't give me error here in the constructor, or if I have a set function and I don't define it with a const, then it will not give me error. Okay, because I allow that function to do the change. But here I am preventing the print because it is not its job. It is the job of another function. So here I now delete this one here. I delete it. Okay, so that way it is better that when we have, for example, here I'll add like the get and set functions. So for example, for the day, so I'll say integer get day, then void set day, and then integer, for example, day here, and then again integer set get month, and void set month, integer month. Okay, and then integer get year, and void set year, integer year. Okay, you see here the way I am writing it, this is what you wrote before, or what you saw before, and also you used in your assignment, that we don't restrict these functions from changing data members. Now some of you start to use the keyword constant in parameters, and this is a good way. We need to write our code as professionals. We try to read, to learn these things. Of course, I can do it without const, as you saw before. I can. But this is not the professional way to do it. The professional way is to include this keyword. Also, the professional way is that for those functions that are not supposed to change values of data members, I explicitly put the keyword const into them. Okay? So which one here, which of these are not supposed to change data members?
Set.
The set or the get?
Set.
Huh?
Set.
The set functions?
Yes.
Yeah, the set functions, yes, here in parameters. Okay? They are not supposed to change the parameters. This is good. What else? What else? What else? Any of these functions are not supposed to change the value of data members? Any of them are not supposed to change the value of data members? Any of these 6 that we wrote? Or all of them? we give them permission to change data members? Huh? All of them, or we restrict some of them? What about get day? What is the purpose of get day? Just to what? To return the value of day, isn't it? Is it supposed to change the value of day? Where we change the value of day? In the set. So this one is allowed. We allowed it to change the value of day. But this one is supposed just to return the value. Returning means just to read the current value and return it to the caller. So this is just, this is supposed to read, not to change. So in here, I need also to put const on this. Okay, I need to put const on this here. See? Now, this way I am writing my code as professional programmer, because I'm trying to do these restrictions. Okay? So, any question about what I said? So we saw now 3 uses of the keyword const. 3 uses. One of them is that to create C++ constants. C++ constants. Of course, we have what we call macros, and macros are also constants, but they are not built-in constants. They are not C++ constants, they are preprocessor directives. We also saw how to use the keyword constant in parameters. And the purpose of this one is to restrict the function from modifying the parameter. And the third use is to put the keyword const after the function declaration, and this one to prevent. Here we are preventing the function from changing the parameter, but here we are preventing the function from changing the data members. So they will not be able to change any of these day, month, and year. There is a fourth use for the const. For the keyword const, there is a fourth use. And this is also new to you. Here, in main, let me here in main declare, you see here I am declaring, let me declare a date object. I say date, today, today is what? 9? 12? 2018. Okay? So I am creating an object. You see here, this object inside the date class, I can change the values of day, month, and year using the set functions. I can do that one. After now I have I specify the day as 9, month as 12, year as 2018 here. But the functions, the set, later on, I can do, for example, a set day, set month. Okay? I can do, for example, here, I'll show you what I mean. For example, I say today, set day, 20. I can do this. But what, for example, let's say here, if we want to create, let's say here, I say DOB. What we mean by DOB? Date of birth. If someone wants, this is just an example, if someone wants to put an object for his or her date of birth, for example, let's say it will not be 2018, it will be like, let's say here, let's say 2008. Normally, after you specify the date of birth, do you need to change it? Huh? After you specify the date of birth, do you need to change it? No. Normally, no. So it means this object here is supposed to be, let's change this one so you will not get there, or later on we want to talk about something else. So the DOB is supposed not to be changed after this point. So as I created constant variables, built primitive constants, I can also create constant objects. And here I say const. Okay. Now I declared const here. I declared the DOB as constant, which means from now on this object is not supposed to be changed. Okay. But I am here calling a function to change the value of day or the value of month or the value of year. Am I supposed to do this? I'm supposed not to change the value, any value in DOB. I'm supposed not to change anything in DOB. That's why you see here, I got the error. I got error here. Why? Because set day is supposed can or not supposed, but can change the value of day. Set month can change the value of month. Okay. So if I change this one, let's say here to change it to get day. Okay. You see, the error disappeared. You see? You notice why? If I put set, it is the same object. It is the same object, but here I put, for example, let's say here 20 as we did before. It gives me error here for the set day, but not for the get day. Why? Why it is giving me error here, but not here? Because since I declare the object to be constant, I am allowed only to call constant functions. I am only allowed to call constant functions. What functions here I declare as constant? What functions here? You see here, what functions I declare as constant? Only get day, get month, get year, and print. So now, for constant objects, this is another use for constant. If you want, sometimes you need. For example, here we have what the time at midnight. If I say midnight, I create an object, a time object, call it midnight. Does midnight change here in Oman or in US or in Japan or India or whatever? It is 12 at 12 at night, huh? It is the same everywhere. So that is a constant object. Everywhere you go, it is constant. So you should not allow anyone to change the day, the time, the hour, or the minute, or the second there, since that one is a constant object. So here now, you see here, if I put DOB get month, I'll not get error. If I say DOB set month, of course here, sorry, month, okay. Maybe I think I put the wrong name. Month, yes. That's why it accepted before. Okay, so here set month, for example, 10, and DOB print, for example, here. You see, all of these, any function that I declared as constant function, it will not give me error in it. But all the other functions that I didn't declare as const, it will give me error. So all constant objects can only call constant functions. Constant objects can only call constant functions. You understand this? So now this is another use of the keyword constant. Now we are using it with functions. Before we use it with parameters. Now we are using with functions. And we are using it also with objects. There is another use of constant. And here, for example, I'll show you here. Here I have a vehicle class. And if I write, you see here I have number and name. Name is a character array, it is a string. Now if I want to write I get name, how I write it? Char star get name, like this. Why do I need the star here? Why do I need the star? Because name is not just a single character. It is a character array. If it is just a single character like this, then I am not supposed to do it this way. I can do it just as a single character. But since I am here declaring this one as array, then I cannot return. If I return get name this way, I can only return one character. But I can, if I want to return the whole string, I should put the star here. Okay? So now, with this one, with get name, just a few minutes ago, I said that since get name will just return the value of name, so I am supposed to put a constant here. Okay? But the problem is that since get name will return a string. Since get name will return a string, then it means that in main here, if I say, for example, here, if I say cout, get name, of course I need vehicle, v get name, okay, v get name, okay. If I say cout v get name, then I will not get the error, because it is a normal, it will return a string and I am displaying it. But the problem here, if I say, for example, here, if I say, let me declare, I say char star n. What is this? If I say char star n, what is it? It is just a pointer. It is just a pointer. It is not an array. It is not a character array. It is just a pointer. And you see here vehicle returns a pointer. So I can say n equals get name, v get name. I can say v get name. I can say this one. Okay. So this is valid, but there's a problem here. There's a problem. What's the problem? The problem is that I am pointing to the name which is created by another function. It is that one is created by another function. Maybe that function will delete that area for name. Then later on, I will have n, for example, inside here, inside vehicle here, okay, inside the constructor or somewhere here, I can create the value, an area for name, and then this function will return a pointer to it. But if this class, if this object deletes that area, then main now will still have a pointer. This is the area that was for name. Now that object deleted that area. This pointer, before it's pointing to this area. Now where it points to? It is not pointing to anything. We call it dangling. Dangling means it is not fixed. It is not attached to anything. It is like hanging pointer. Okay? So to prevent this one, this function is supposed, this main function is not supposed to create n this way. It is supposed to create it as an array, a character array. And it is supposed to do it this way. String cpy s v n and then get name. Okay? It is supposed to do it this way. So now, what is the difference between this one and that one? Now, this main will have its own copy of name. Will have its own copy. If that one is deleted, that area is deleted in that object, no problem, because it has own copy. So, in order to prevent this one from main from doing it this way, for example, the one that we did it before, here. Okay, so and in order to prevent that one, I have to do it. I think we will finish, yani, but so what I need to do is I put constant here. I put constant here. Okay. So now if I put constant, okay, you see here n equals v get name. Now I got an error. This means that no. This is my own area. The object is telling me this is my own area. Don't point your pointer to it. Use your own copy. Get a copy of the values and then leave. Yani, you are students. Sometimes someone, he said that I missed one lecture. Please give me your notebook. Okay? And they take it for a week, and you want to study, and your notebook is not there. Better tell them, well, take it. Do copy whatever you want from it and return it back to me. So they will get their own copy. They will not play with your copy. This is the way. This is why we have it. So this is another use of constant. And I think we have, yani, now with most of what you will see, yani, in programs, in C++ programs of using constants. Now you know how, yani, how to define it and what's its purpose. So we have now I explained 5 uses of constant. 5 uses of constants. Any question? Any question? Okay, inshallah, so see you next time on Tuesday.